Let's do this.
Just just down some chocolate-covered espresso beans. I'm ready to go.
Some what?
Chocolate-covered espresso beans.
I was about to say, I thought I heard that, but I could not. I had to double check to
Yeah,
be sure.
they're good. If you don't have time to brew a cup of coffee, you just pop a couple of those in your mouth.
Here's my question:
Handful.
Are they dark chocolate or white chocolate?
Dark.
Okay, good. I approve. I approve of this. I'm not a fan of white. I'm not a fan of white chocolate.
Yep, it's a good way to be.
Fair enough. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the General Geekery podcast. This is, of course, the podcast where we love to geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Indeed.
As always, I am your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, streamer by night. I am Donald Kaczynski back once again. Joining me as always, she is the dice slinger extraordinaire, artiste magnificent, our resident video game inept, and current devourer of chocolate-covered espresso beans. She is Hannah Kubiak.
Hello.
Welcome to the second iteration of James Bond Month.
Woo!
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba.
My cat likes to sit on my notes.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear him?
No, it's okay. So today, as we mentioned last time, today we are looking over the first film in Daniel Craig's era of James Bond, which is, in my opinion, and y'all can question me for this, whatever. This is my favorite James Bond film. This is my absolute favorite James Bond film. We are looking over 2006's Casino Royale.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
when the chips are down. The guns are out.
I was waiting to see where you were going with that.
I wasn't going anywhere. I was hoping that it would come to me as I went along, and it didn't.
Oh.
When the chips are down, the bets are up. There we go.
Gotcha.
That's better.
Gotcha. So, prior to Casino Royale in 2006, the James Bond films continued on, but there was never really, like, a continuing narrative for the most part.
No, it's kind of like one-offs with the same character, but each case is kind of unconnected to the other cases, you know, like it's not following somebody as they're pursuing the same villain throughout the series. Is always like a standalone kind of thing where like you could pick up one of these books or watch one of these movies and you don't need to know you almost don't need to know anything that's going on in the that's going on otherwise, like backstory and stuff. Like it stands alone.
Right. Well, I mean, there have been like some like exceptions. Like, I mean, technically.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, give me a second. Technically, From Russia with Love was a little bit of a sequel to Dr. No. Yeah, in terms of like the beginning and the writing of that movie, it technically served as kind of like a sequel to that. There was a nod to On Your Majesty's Secret Service from Your Eyes Only. There was a couple of callbacks and stuff throughout Timothy Dalton's and Pierce Brosnan's respective eras, but nothing that really formed an overarching constructive narrative for the most part.
Yeah.
And James Bond was taking a little bit of a like critical dive at the turn of the 21st century with Pierce Brosnan's last outing as James Bond, Die Another Day. And the less said about that film, the better, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen that one.
I have a huge problem with that film, and I'm not going to air that dirty laundry here.
Alrighty.
But but so after that, it was eventually decided to kind of reboot the franchise, and they went back to the drawing board, and they decided to have this new Bond, Daniel Craig,
Yep.
basically star in a film that was the only Ian Fleming work that they did not actually fully adapt. It was the only one that Ian Productions had not adapted prior to then, and it was the very first James Bond novel, Casino Royale.
Yep, published in 1953. Yeah, and it's basically the story of so if you listen to the episode before this, this would have been the book that Ian Fleming was working on to distract himself from his upcoming nuptials in 1952. So, you know, and we were talking about how he had this sort of very rigorous writing schedule for when he would go on holiday to the GoldenEye estate in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Spend 2 months there and just write and write and write. So this was the first one.
This was the very first one. This is the one that started it all.
Yep.
Now, obviously, there have been some changes from the original story, like modern changes, and a couple of added things to adapt it to a film format. But I mean, the story stays fairly true to the original novel. For the most part.
I mean, it makes me want to read the book, kind of.
I still have yet to read, like, I've only read one James Bond novel out of curiosity, but we'll get to that one when we get to that one, because, there's a story behind that one.
Yeah? All right. Which one did you read?
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, okay.
That the novel and the movie, we're going to talk about that when we get to The Spy Who Loved Me, but there's an entire thing with that one.
Okay.
But Casino Royale was really where it started it all. It was what first introduced us to James Bond, how he acts, this entire spy operation of infiltrating a game of chance in order to be able to gain leverage on a criminal financer. And
Le Chiffre.
Monsieur Le Chiffre. And some things that they add into this version is they actually showcase how Bond earned his 007 status.
Right.
Which was the entire prelude to the film. This was the very first James Bond film to not open with the traditional gun barrel sequence.
That's right.
It kind of shook everything up like that. Usually you would get the gun barrel narrative and then the gun barrel sequence, and then you would get the intro moments.
Yeah.
But it starts us off with showing us how Bond earned 007 status.
Right. Yeah.
Which I gotta say, it was so funny. Like, he had such a hard time killing the guy before him, and then when he meets up with Dryden, well, made you feel it, did he? Well, don't worry. The next one just shoots him point blank dead. And James, and James was like, yes, considerably. I'm like, oh my god. And actually, if you actually look back on that scene, when Dryden's falling over after getting shot by Bond, there's like a slight fraction of a second of a frame where he's actually knocking over a portrait of him and his family.
Oh.
And I remember I was watching a YouTube video that was describing that scene, and I went back, and when we were reverse it. When you and me were watching it, Hannah, I was looking closely at that scene, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh my god, the filmmakers actually knew their attention to detail. Holy crap!
Yep. Yep. It's always harder to kill people who have kids.
I mean, that's the life.
I know this from experience.
the life of a double O. It's what happens.
Oh, they say that they say that if a wallet gets stolen, it's more likely to be like returned or found if it has like a picture of some kids in it.
That is true.
Yeah. I should just get a picture of some random children and put it in my wallet just in case.
I'll send you a picture of my nephews.
Oh, yeah. You cuties.
But yeah, we see how Bond earns his 00 status, and then we see him doing his work in the field. As it turns out, he unintentionally interrupts a manipulation of stock funds by our main villain of the film, Le Chiffre.
Yup.
Portrayed...
And you kind of get right away the sort of idea that, you know, that Bond is kind of different from other agents because he kind of just like goes off half-cocked, you know, just doing reckless things, you know, kind of like the bit where M is like lecturing him after he basically got the hostage or got the bagman killed at the embassy or whatever,
the bomb
he himself
maker,
was on camera. He himself was on camera and stuff. It reminded me of this line from my favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard, where where one of the he puts his gun to the back of one of the terrorists' heads, and the terrorist says, he says, "But you're not going to shoot me. You are a policeman. There are rules for policemen." And John McClane just says, "Yep. That's what my captain keeps telling me," and proceeds to beat the living shit out of the guy. So that was kind of what it reminded me of, where it's like, yeah, you know, you're on the side of good, but you're a hothead and you don't do things by the book. The book restricts your vision and your ingenuity.
I mean, when has Bond ever followed rules by the book? I mean, the only thing he follows by is for Queen and Country.
Oh, I was gonna say if there's a sexy lady within a mile, he knows about it.
I mean, there's few things that drive Bond more than his love for Queen and Country, his inflated ego, and his sexual frustrated sex drive.
Yep. Like, I'm loyal to nothing except sex.
I mean, speaking of the ego, the moment where the guy, oh my god, when he enters, oh god, where was he when this happened? It was like in the Caribbean or something like that, or somewhere in, I forget where he was at, like when he was trying to discover the bomb, trying to figure out the bomb threat and everything like that.
Oh, right, with that lady, yeah.
Yeah, and the guy thought he was a chauffeur, and he's like, park the car, and then Bond just like crushes the car.
Yep, just crashed it into the barricade or whatever. But not the barricade, the divider.
Yeah, into the divider, and actually damages several of the cars. Well, I'm like, that is beyond petty, and I love it.
And yeah, didn't he run into that guy later who like looked at him like he kind of recognized him, and he just said like something in German and walked away?
I don't
or something.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I think he was.
It's hard to say. There's a lot of different like details in this film that sometimes on like first viewing that you tend to overlook.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but that was a funny moment. It was just like pretends to be a foreigner and walks away.
So great. So absolutely great. But
oh man.
But yeah, like the entire first act is to set up the original plot line of the original novel, which is the card game at Casino Royale.
Right. High stakes poker.
Which is a vast deviation from the original novel, because in the original novel they were playing Baccarat. Which I mentioned.
Which is Bond's game of choice.
It is Bond's game of choice. That's why he was chosen in the original for that. But they changed it to poker.
Because viewers today will be more familiar with the rules of poker.
What's up?
I think that's maybe... I said because viewers today would be more familiar with the rules of poker.
It's easier to explain poker than Baccarat.
Right.
I'll be honest, I tried to learn Baccarat, and even I can't figure this damn game out.
I mean, poker confused me. When they would like put down their cards and stuff, and until I saw how people reacted, I honestly didn't know who had won the hand.
Poker is a game that is based around pairs, straights, and pairs, multiples of a card, straights, and same suits. So, like, if you have a handful of hearts, or if you have a handful of spades, or stuff like that, and certain hands trump the other.
Right, like if they're with higher suits.
Yeah, they're like hearts, if I'm not mistaken, is like the highest suit in the deck by definition of the game. But in terms of poker, what makes it interesting is that, like, in the style of poker that they played, because they were playing Texas Hold'em style. So everybody starts off with 2 cards in their own respective hands. Nobody else knows it. And then as bets are made, cards are flipped up as kind of like a general pool. Everybody has access to those cards. Yeah. And so you have to either bet in order to, like, increase your chances of winning more money with a winning hand, or if your hand is not as powerful but you have a lot of stakes in this, you can psych your opponents out by betting big and bluffing your way through. Yeah. It's a game of deception. Yeah. It's a game of deception, and when Bond says in the film that he figured out Le Chiffre's tell, it's finding a nervous tick that somebody is lying. Because subconsciously somebody will always do something possibly when they are lying. Yeah. So, yeah. It eventually all comes down to that, which they actually play upon perfectly in both the original novel as well as in this movie. So Bond is recruited by MI6 in order to participate in the high stakes poker game funded by Le Chiffre in order to get back the money that he lost during the failed bombing of an airliner. In order because he was using his client's money. He was gambling with his client's money.
Oh, right. With the... Oh, no, it wasn't it stocks?
Stocks usually equate to... Stocks equate to money still, so...
Yeah. So, yeah, he had, like... Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, the big airliner exploding would have led to, like, some sort of...
A stock plummet
crash in that airline's stock prices. Yeah,
stock plummet for him, and he put his stocks into a different business, which would have increased his funds. But he took a huge loss because of that, and because of that, because it is shown that Le Chiffre is a mathematical genius. That's why he put together a poker tournament, because he believed that he can actually definitively really beat all these different people.
Yeah, because he needs the money now, right? To pay off the people whose money he lost.
Yeah, because he knows they're going to be coming for him, because he's like, he needs to recoup the losses. Basically, and so Bond is inserted into the game because if Bond can win and force Le Chiffre to lose, basically, Le Chiffre will be forced to seek asylum with the British government in order to be able to seek asylum and gain safety. That thereby they can use they can extract information on him on criminal clients. Espionage stuff. So Bond is partnered with the money, so to speak. A agent from the British Treasury, Vesper Lind. I love this woman.
Yeah, she's a good character. I like.
Played by Eva Green. She is the original. She is the original Bond girl, but she's not a stereotype Bond girl. Oh my God, she is great. Eva Green played her so well in this. Oh my God, she was fantastic.
Yeah,
like
I enjoyed her.
Like their first meeting on the train, like they're psychoanalyzing each other. All the way up to the first round of poker, and Bond's like, I need you to wear this. I need you to look alluring in order to distract them all. So when you come up to give me a kiss, the eyes will be on you instead of their cards. And then Bond has his tux. He's like, you got me this tux? Yes, I did. I need you to look your best at that table. How? This is tailored. I sized you up in the moment I saw you. I'm like, there is so much 3D level chess banter between these two early on. Yep. I'm like, I love this so much.
Yeah. Oh, I used to be able to, when I worked in the costume shop, I used to be able to, like, look at a person and then just go and grab a pair of pants that would fit them.
You did mention that during our watch through. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be able to do that. Just be like, oh yeah, you look like a 36. Hold on, I'll be right back.
I still believe that you could do that.
Possibly. There was a certain range of sizes amongst people in our sort of theater group that I became familiar with after a time.
Fair enough.
But when a new person came in, I'm like, you look about the same size as what's his name, who's like 34 or whatever.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so poker starts, and they're just going through everything, and all of the motifs are set that are in the original, like the original inspiration of the Vesper Vodka Martini. The shaken not stirred. Like whenever people talk about the shaken not stirred vodka martini from James Bond, that is the exact recipe. Like it was never said on film what the exact recipe was. Bond actually says the full recipe outright when he orders the drink.
Right, yeah. It's 3 measures of Gordon's, 1 of vodka, half a measure of Lillet?
I believe so.
Shake it very well until it's ice cold, and then add a large, thin slice of lemon peel.
I want to make sure that is actually the correct thing, because if you remember that...
No, I didn't. I just read it off of Wikipedia.
Oh, you did it? You did?
Yeah.
Oh, would you look at that?
Hello, Wiki, my old friend.
Oh, you forgot about the gin.
Gin?
Yep. Yep, Lillet Blanc, vodka, and gin.
Isn't Gordon's a gin?
I believe Gordon's is a gin.
All right, I did say Gordon's. Gordon's, vodka, Kino Lillet, whatever that is.
Yeah.
What is Kino Lillet?
Either or. I mean, I've had one of those martinis before. It's actually really delicious.
Yeah? Oh, it's a liqueur made with white wine.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed with fruit liqueurs and flavored with quinine.
And then the lemon peel for the garnish.
Yep.
You know, that's not half bad. I'm going to have to think of a name for that.
I wish there was a pronunciation guide. How to pronounce this. Oh, wait, no. French pronunciation, Lillet. Yeah.
So we get through the poker game, and a bunch of different things happen. First and foremost, I think it was Ugandan This crime boss from Uganda comes by to visit Le Chiffre because he found out that he had gambled away his money.
That's right.
Which I'm like, oh shit. So all that happens. As Bond and Vesper are trying to snoop on him, they figure they take care of the Ugandan they take care of the gang leaders, and they have their third person, Mathis, dispose of the bodies.
Yep.
And
poor guy.
Oh, poor Mathis.
I mean, the cleaner.
The cleaner always makes us do. And as it goes on, Bond thought that he had Le Chiffre's tell. Unfortunately, it backfired in his face. And Vesper originally refused to buy him back in, so Bond was going to just say F everything and just kill the sheath.
That's what you do when you've got no other options. You just kill the guy.
Right. And then
it always works out, you know.
And then he's stopped by another person playing at the table, Felix Leiter.
Right. Who isn't he from another agency trying to bankrupt Le Chiffre?
He's from the CIA. I mentioned Felix.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned Felix Leiter back in Dr. No because he's a character that
that's who that was. Okay, gosh, I did not even realize.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
We watched those movies back to back, and it didn't even occur to me.
It's kind of hilarious because honestly, Felix Leiter's actor changes in almost every single Bond movie that he appears in.
Oh my gosh.
I am not even joking. The fact that they had Jeffrey Wright be Felix Leiter throughout the entirety of Daniel Craig's tenure, honestly, is a godsend.
Yeah.
And Wright did pretty dang well. Pretty dang well.
Yeah.
He doesn't get as much time in this film as I would have hoped, but you know what? He plays it well. Well done, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Well done, Jeffrey. So basically, him and the CIA agree to stake Bond back into the game so long as they turn Le Chiffre over to the CIA when Bond eventually beats him, because Leiter's like, I'm bleeding ships. There's no way that I'm going to make it, but you have the ability to stop him.
Yeah.
And Bond eventually works his way back up. Unfortunately, Le Chiffre's lover poisoned Bond's drink during one hand.
Right.
So Bond has to get the toxin out in a little bit of like an emergency surgery kind of thing, which is attached to his car. God almighty,
yep.
I love spy stuff.
Yep. Well, you yeah. I mean, yeah, you down a bunch of like very, very concentrated salt water, and that'll clear you out a little bit.
And so yeah, now Bond, get yourself to a hospital. I will, as soon as I beat this game.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
And so he comes back, and Le Chiffre's like, "What? You're still alive? Sorry, I'm sorry. That last hand nearly killed me." It eventually comes to a comes down to the final four players.
Yep.
And everybody goes all in. And Bond has Bond has the highest hand.
Yep. Isn't it the highest hand you can have?
A straight flush.
Even. Yeah.
Specifically, a straight flush that is a 10, Jack, King, Queen, and Ace of the same suit is the highest.
Yep, royal flush. Yeah.
Yep, is the royal flush. The royal flush is the highest kind of hand that you can have. The only thing that beats a straight flush would be a higher straight flush.
Right. Yeah.
Because everybody else had either a straight or full houses. So it came down to a very, very difficult hand. But
yeah.
Bond does win, and he tips the dealer $500,000. Oh my god! I still can't believe he literally tipped the dealer a $500,000 chip.
I wish.
We literally said, "Can we get some of that money?"
Yeah, that would
I got bills to pay.
yeah. I that would pay off my student loans for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, even if we split it in half, it'll pay off both of our loans.
Oh yeah.
But again, this does not sit well with Le Chiffre, so he kidnaps both Bond and Vesper in order to get them to spill the account number and the password in order to access the money. Because, again, he's a desperate man. He needs it. Which leads to, in my opinion, one of the best shot torture scenes in the entire franchise.
Yep. Oh, it's a brutal kind of torture, basically. Yeah, you just
nothing over.
Well, yeah, you tie a person to a chair,
strip them naked,
and strike their undercarriage with a knot at the end of a rope.
I mean, you guys can keep your laser. You can keep your slow moving laser from Goldfinger. You can keep your shark tanks from Live and Let Die. You can keep all your other tortures and everything like that. Like, nothing is more simplistic and more horrifying to a male than that. I could feel every single strike, and I'm like, oh god.
Yep.
And props to Le Chiffre's actor Mads Mikkelsen for
he's one of my favorite actors.
Oh my, I love him.
Mads Mikkelsen.
For those of you that don't know who Mads Mikkelsen is, definitely look him up. If you guys have seen Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, you probably already know him because he was Galen Erso.
Yeah. And he was in Doctor Strange. He was the main cultist guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting he was Caecilius.
Yeah.
Truly a transformative man.
Yeah.
But but eventually, just like in the original novel, Le Chiffre is gunned down by an agent from an organization that he's a part of because I'll get the money, I promise. Money is no consequence to our organization more than trust. And for some reason, the assassin allows Bond and Vesper to live.
Yeah.
Just like in the original. Now, it differs because of the film and in the novel. In the novel, it was SMERSH that was the organization. It was
SMERSH?
SMERSH. SMERSH.
Oh! Oh yeah, it sounds a little bit more menacing if you don't say it in an American accent.
Yeah. Russian.
Smash.
It's Russian.
Smash. Oh yeah, we are an organization called Smash.
Yeah, because in the original James Bond novels, like Spectre didn't come in until Thunderball, which was like the 8th or 9th novel, and so the main enemy organization was SMERSH.
Yeah.
Of course, it changes for Craig's Bond because, well, I mean that gets resolved in like the next film, Quantum of Solace, but yeah, Vesper and Bond survive. Bond thinks that Mathis was a mole that sold him out, so he sells Mathis out to MI6. And he decides to quit being an agent and live a life of peace with Vesper. Only tragedy befalls.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta ask you, Hannah, at any point prior to the reveal at the ending of Casino Royale, did you think that Vesper was the betrayer?
I mean, I had seen it before, so yeah, I did know that.
Okay. When you originally watched it, did you think that was what it was?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it does make a lot of sense, but again, it's like how it was in the original novel. Vesper's followed around by members of the same agency because she realizes that she will always be their pawn if she's around Bond. So
Yeah.
it plays out very differently. Like, she commits suicide in both versions, but in the novel, she commits suicide in their hotel bedroom.
In the book, yeah.
Yep, in the book. In the movie, when there's an entire gunfight going on in a building in Venice, which is sinking the building because they punctured the floaters. As Bond is trying to save Vesper, she forces herself to drown.
Yeah. That's... I can't imagine willfully drowning, honestly. Like, your survival instinct has got to kick in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a hard thing to imagine.
Yeah, as someone who has played Ophelia from Hamlet before, like, I can't imagine doing that on purpose. Like, I feel like the description, the monologue that the Queen does about how Ophelia died I feel like it was like an accident, basically.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine someone willfully drowning themselves. But yeah, drowning scenes are really disturbing. Like that one. There was... Did you ever see that movie, The Prestige?
Oh, God.
Where where this one guy, I think it was the Hugh Jackman character, drops through the trap door in one of the magic tricks, but someone's moved the big water tank underneath it.
Yeah.
And there's a whole nother twist with that, but I will not spoil it here. But yeah. Drowning scenes are just, very disturbing.
They're hard to sit through.
Yeah, because it takes a long time to drown. Like, it's kind of like being strangled, but by the air around you, like your atmosphere.
Right. It's a gruesome scene, and honestly, it's like one of the most heartbreaking death scenes in all of James Bond. And I shed a tear every single time that happens, because it's like, James actually cared for her. That's what hurts.
Yeah.
He doesn't care for anybody.
Yeah. Like, and then, at the end, he, has his armor back up, and he just says, "The bitch is dead now."
Yep. Which is what he said in the original novel, too.
Yeah. You know what was interesting? He was there was this thing at the end of the movie where he was kind of like, he's got, a bag of her belongings and stuff. And there's, a seashell there. And I was wondering if that's a callback to Dr. No at all. Just this little seashell that he picks up and, looks at it for a little bit.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was that.
Yeah, I feel like that was... I wouldn't have thought of it if we hadn't watched Dr. No and then immediately watched Casino Royale, but... Yep. I was like, aw, girl with her shell.
Yep. So, yeah, in terms of... where it deviates in the original novel is that Vesper actually left James information on who it was that forced her to do all this, and the film ends with James visiting the man known as Mr. White.
Yeah.
And shooting him in the leg and paralyzing him, and just saying, "The name's Bond. James Bond. Roll credits."
Oh, gosh. Remember that. Oh my gosh.
And that is Casino Royale, my favorite James Bond film of all time.
It's pretty good.
It's so good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It had the the humor, the sort of the action sequences, the suspense, the sort of like um exotic locations. Like you're always on a flight to um like Calcutta or something to go and track down this hacker or something like that. Just
Yeah.
oh man. And oh yeah.
it's
That's probably one of my favorite things about this sort of like spy genre is that they go to all these different places like in like Jason Bourne is one of those, like that movie trilogy I really enjoy.
okay.
Jason Bourne. They basically go to all sorts of different random places like Algiers and Munich and
Right.
stuff. So,
And the James Bond series
uh,
was really kind of like the first like film franchise to really capitalize on that. And
yep.
and not have it be like something that's like a monster movie or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I like that because the problems that these people face, like these people in like MI6, or the CIA or whatever, these problems that they're going to solve, that they're assigned to take care of, is
Yeah.
like it's of global importance, So the fact that the setting is so like far flung, like you go to all sorts of different corners of different continents to try and figure out what's going on here and ultimately like save the world. Um, like the hugeness of the setting just kind of echoes the sort of enormity of the situation, I suppose. So I think that's really cool. And I
It's
think that is the first time this whole episode that I've spoken coherently about any part of this. There we go. Boom.
understand. So one thing
Goodbye.
that we didn't really mention in Doctor No that was also kind of present here is just these movies have such a good understanding of just set design, of just eye candy.
Right.
Like the set design of like indoor areas, like in
Mm-hmm.
Casino Royale, like the kitchen scene, like the underground layer with like the little aquarium, like the aquarium that Doctor No has set up.
Right.
In Casino Royale, the private casino room that they're playing in throughout the majority of it, where the players are literally in the middle, front and center. It's just
Mm-hmm. Yep.
love it.
Oh, it's so good.
There's just a grandeur to it.
Yeah. And just also sort of like this genre has sort of there's kind of a gritty realism to it almost. Like there's lots of, I mean, maybe this is more of a medical thriller thing, but one of the sort of staples of a medical thriller is like very detailed explanations of like the process of like a surgery or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like spy thrillers kind of, you like to sort of have things seem plausible, you know, and just convoluted enough.
Which James Bond has an extensive history of being convoluted hijinks.
Yeah, it's very convoluted, and then you think, wow, this could actually happen, like this 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 gadget or something is very realistic. Like I think it was, and we talk about The Hunt for Red October again. I think it was Tom Clancy, the author of Hunt for Red October.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually like investigated by like the FBI or something because the sort of details of like submarine stuff and like nuclear submarines and how they work the details that he put in there, that some of it he just made up, was so close to what it was actually like that they thought that he must have gotten the information somehow, like there had been a leak. So he was like being investigated because of how accurate his submarine descriptions were. And it was like, I
can't say that I blame
honestly
you.
no.
I can't say that I blame.
I'm just an imaginative author. That's like
can't say that I blame you. This government's got us seeing communists in our soups.
Yeah. Oh gosh, let me see. Clancy, Red October.
Oh, your thoughts on Vesper? I mean, I've shared my opinions on
Vesper.
her.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought she was awesome. She really like. She showed that she knew what she was doing. She was not intimidated at all by James Bond. She just like sat down and she's like, "Hello, this is what we're doing." And they, as you said, psychoanalyzed each other. And she, she wasn't like, she wasn't like in like in awe of this big strong man. She was just like, we're working together on this, and you're kind of annoying.
Yeah, Bond even says outright, "You're the one person that I cannot seem to read."
Yep, yeah. And she very much knew what she was doing, but then also when she was out of her element, where like they basically Bond killed those Ugandan mobsters in the stairwell, and like she had this nice little like vulnerable moment where she just it freaked her out. She went basically kind of catatonic for a while almost.
Like the blood, blood won't come off.
Yeah, like she knows her own sort of like. She has her expertise and the things that she's good at, and the whole sort of violence and killing aspect was something that she wasn't prepared for, and it was new for her. And but it didn't make the character seem like weak or anything. It was just sort of this is not in her experience.
Yeah, you get to see her vulnerability, which in turn, showing vulnerability of a character shows depth of character. Like vulnerability does not mean that it's a weak character. Far from it.
Yeah, and another thing, in this movie, the basically. In the that torture scene we were talking about before, like we've never seen any other iteration of James Bond in that sort of vulnerable situation, which kind of makes
he was
the
scared.
character a little bit more. Yeah,
you could see the terror and there's the tears in his eyes.
Yep, yeah, and just sort of like that's and. That makes a character a lot more believable. Like when they make mistakes, like he misread Le Chiffre's tell and lost all the money, or he got poisoned and he couldn't. He tried to save himself, but he couldn't do it, and Vesper had to come and help him out, and like he got like. Captured and tortured, and didn't give away any of the information, but like it was awful.
Which is kind of hilarious because in the grand scheme of things, like the more you think about it, since Vesper was the worm, she didn't technically have to do that.
Right.
Like she could have technically just let Bond die, and like that would have been that. That would have been finito. She would have been done, but she had grown to care for him.
Yep, that was her first mistake. That's always her mistake. If you grow to care for people, You're gonna end up drowning in an elevator.
Like it was a moment of it was a moment of genuine concern, and honestly, I'm like, that's
Yeah.
all you need. Like Vesper Lynd, like in terms of both the novel and on screen, this particular on screen appearance is what a Bond girl is done right.
Right. Yeah.
Like she is. She has staying presence. I mean, even in the Bond novels and everything like that, and throughout Daniel Craig's era, she is constantly referenced back to. Like, she is constantly referenced back to throughout the entire mythos. Like, there have only been 2 women that James Bond lost and has been absolutely heartbroken over. One was Vesper, and another was a woman that he married from On Your Majesty's Secret Service.
Right.
And holy jeez, what a character. I'm sorry. I can't help but praise my love for this character so much.
Oh yeah. She's awesome.
Now, a lot of people have said like they're not too big on this film because like they found like the entire poker sequence and everything like that. They found it slow. Was that a problem for you, Hannah?
That the movie was slow?
Yeah, they found.
No, I didn't find it a problem.
Okay, I was wondering about that because like almost every other
Like
person...
I wasn't bored.
Right.
But then again, I grew up watching really long movies. So
yeah, so you're used to it.
Yeah.
The reason I ask that is that a lot of people that I usually ask this question to is that like whenever people talk about like the Daniel Craig era, I usually ask like what their favorite ones are. Usually it'll be sometimes Casino Royale will come up, but it'll either be Skyfall or the most recent one, No Time to Die, according to some of my friends.
Oh, okay.
I still have not seen the new one yet. I still need to before I make a final judgment on Daniel Craig's best movie. For me, it is still Casino Royale. And a main reason why they say they like those movies instead is because like nonstop action and witty writing and everything like that. And I'm like, there's witty writing in Casino Royale too, but there's also slow moments that build up and actually deliver.
Yeah, you gotta have sort of like the ebb and flow, the ups and downs. Like you need to pace the story. Like if it's just nonstop up high here, you become desensitized to it. Whereas if you've got sort of like an ebb and flow and there are moments that are like quiet and vulnerable, and then moments that are, like funny and clever, and moments that are kind of sexy, and then moments that are, like a giant car chase through an airport and all this stuff. Like that all combines into,
to quote Judi Dench,
it makes sure that you don't get used to what's going on, and that all of those, like the well-chosen sort of suspenseful things actually affect you, if that makes sense.
Right. But to quote Judi Dench's M, who was like the only character that they brought back from Pierce Brosnan's era, to quote her, "Christ, I miss the Cold War."
Oh man.
We did not deserve Judi Dench, damn it.
That was great. I miss the Cold War.
I love that. I love that woman. I love that woman so much. But yeah, I mean, Casino Royale laid like a strong groundwork that literally helped save the franchise and usher in this new reboot to be successful. I mean, Daniel Craig's era also produced another great film in terms of Skyfall, which was basically the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the entire series.
Right. Yeah.
So final question, since we talked about Dr. No beforehand and we talked about Casino Royale beforehand, seeing them both back to back as different introductory films to James Bond,
Yeah.
Which would you recommend showing people first?
Well, I mean, I like to I like to see things in the order in which they're presented to us.
Okay.
So if we're talking about movies, I would say that Dr. No should be first.
Okay.
But
That
if we're
makes a lot of
talking
sense.
books, Casino Royale. Oh, and I found the thing about Tom Clancy, that
Oh, yeah, go ahead, sure.
a yeah, Tom Clancy's thrillers were so detailed in their description of military and covert operations that pop it up here, that the FBI had investigated the Baltimore novelist to determine his sources for works such as The Hunt for Red October. There were a lot of, like, after Clancy's death, there was sort of like it was found out that the FBI had like a bunch of background checks on him, and like they had conducted all sorts of background checks on him and stuff, and they like, where is it? And I think they basically said like, where do you get your information from? And he basically just like pulled out a bunch of like the manuals that he like read for fun or something, like open source technology manuals and stuff.
God, no one.
You're
No,
just like, nope,
no,
don't
no.
know anything.
No wonder so many companies went to Tom Clancy to write off for different game spin-offs.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
but that attention to detail is important in this genre.
Oh, for spy thrillers, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. It has to seem real. Yeah, so
So,
that's what I have to say about this.
all right, awesome. I don't have anything else to add to Casino Royale either. Like I said, this is my favorite James Bond film of all time. Like, it's gonna take a lot to convince me otherwise. But if you guys haven't seen Casino Royale and you weren't impressed with it originally, go back and watch it. Give it a second chance.
Hmm.
Take your time in analyzing those slow moments, because I don't talk about this enough, but in film, slow moments mean so much more than action set pieces sometimes.
Yeah.
Please take those into account. Please. And that's all I really need to say about that. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this edition of James Bond Month episode.
Oh, just knocked over. Oh.
Uh-oh.
I gave a celebratory sort of like woo, and I like knocked over a lamp here.
Oh no.
Oh, it's okay. It's not an expensive or fragile lamp.
Gotcha. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this edition of James Bond Month. Next time, we should be talking about, I don't know if we'll be talking about either Pierce Brosnan or Roger Moore. What do you think, Hannah? Should we do Pierce Brosnan next or Roger Moore next?
Which one is, which guy played, James Bond first?
Roger Moore was the next James Bond after
Well, let's do that first, and then
end off with Brosnan.
Brosnan. Yes.
All right, next time we're going to be talking about the one and only the late Sir Roger Moore, and I've got an interesting movie picked out for that one. We're going to be talking about The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, all right, awesome.
Yeah,
Looking forward to watching it.
Yep, me and Hannah still need to watch this. We're recording these in batches,
Yep.
so we're all
Yep.
set and ready to talk about these. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. This has been episode 106 of the General Geekery podcast.
Hey!
Indeed. If you guys like what you've been hearing from us, make sure to follow us wherever podcasts can be found. Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts. And if you guys want to listen to all the episodes right from the beginning, I have the full playlist available for you guys in the description of this episode over on YouTube. definitely go check those out if you guys want to experience all the geekery from the beginning. If you guys want to support the show in any way, shape, or form, please consider donating to our Patreon or our Ko-fi page. Links are in the description of this episode if you want to support the show. Help us keep doing what we love to keep doing. Also support our other different series, including the Inepticon series, which hopefully we'll be getting back to soon.
Yep, it's been on a bit of a hiatus.
Indeed. Through no fault of our own. Otherwise, you can also check us out on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the respective links in the description of this episode. You can find Hannah over on Instagram at Pythian Legume. You can find me on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at RyuzakiMK7. And you can check us both out on Twitch. I am at RyuzakiMK7 on my personal Twitch account. You can check both me and Hannah out on Loaded Dice Adventures, slinging dice, slaying monsters, and having a grand old time.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
And if you guys want to join us for the geekery and everything that it entails, please join our Discord at the General Geekery Guild. The link for the Discord is in the description of this episode. We have a lot of different channels for different discussions. Or if you guys just want to just chat and hang with us, that is perfectly okay too. We welcome the company.
Yep.
Until next time, guys.
It's mostly memes.
Memes for days!
Woo!
Until next time, guys, for Hannah Kubiak, I'm Donald Kaczynski, and until next we see you guys, always give a damn if your vodka or martinis are shaken or stirred. Don't be like Daniel Craig. Make sure to keep your cards close, and as always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink. Actually managed to get another clinker this time. Bye, guys.
Bye.